Before we get into today's video, I'd like to give a shout out to one of our newest subscribers, Michael Gunther. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Every time I see that name, I want to pronounce it Gunther. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Gunter, but that doesn't sound right. At least not when I say it. Anyway, thank you for subscribing and welcome to the family. And now on with today's video. Greetings, my dear viewers. It is I, Dreon, and I do apologize for the little break I was on. Mostly, I didn't have a video ready. Second, I just wanted to take a smidge of a break. Hopefully, that is alright with everyone. But with that being said, welcome back to Dungeons & Dragons Character Conversion, where we take characters from across media and convert them into a playable character for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Today we are looking at one of the minor villains from Magic the Gathering, the Planeswalker known as Tezzeret, who, by the way, was given his name by one of the gangs that he was in, which, on his plane, Tezzeret means an improvised weapon. Tezzeret is a planeswalker whose center is blue mana, but also specializes in black mana from time to time. He grew up in the slums of his plane, which was... shoot, what was it? I forgot. I forgot the name of the plane, but that doesn't quite matter. What does matter is that Tezzeret grew up in the slums, had abusive parents, well, an abusive father, and a deadbeat mother who was, well, following some rather unsavory work. But Tezzeret vowed that he would become a sage so that he would no longer have to live in poverty. His father kind of laughed at that. I feel you, Tezzeret. But anyway, he did manage to become a sage at the local Sages Academy, I think it was. But in either case, let's go ahead and get on with the build. Starting off with our stats using the point buy system, we have a 10 for strength, dexterity will be 14, as well as constitution. Intelligence will be a 15, wisdom will be a 9, and so will our charisma. Tezzeret is human, so we're just going to go for a flat-out human. This will give us a +1 to every single one of our stats, as well as give us languages in common and one other language of choice, and a speed of 30 feet. Now, for our background, everybody knows what we're doing. We are doing the Planeswalkers of Ravnica by Christopher Willett, which gives us the background Planeswalker. This gives us proficiencies in Arcana and Survival, as well as proficiency in either a musical instrument or a gaming set of choice. I would say that Tezzeret is good with the gaming set of choice. He seems like a 3-dragon auntie type of guy. Next is our language. You get one language of your choice, and you get the feature Planeswalker's Spark, which gives you the 4th level spell, Planeswalk, which you are able to use only once per day. Now, if your Dungeon Master does not allow the Planeswalker background, which is understandable, it is technically homebrew after all, there is an alternative. The criminal background. Tezzeret grew up in the slums and decided to take up crime. Not only stealing a precious material that he was supposed to be working with his father on, but he also killed one of his professors. So yeah, he's definitely a criminal. This will give us proficiencies in the skills Deception and Stealth. You also get a gaming set of your choice and Thieves' Tools. And your feature... oops. That's supposed to be Researcher. That's supposed to be Criminal Contact. Next is our class. We did go to a special university to become a sage, which is a type of wizard. This is going to be the wizard class. Hit die of 1d6 and starting hit points at 6 plus constitution modifier. We also get hit points, extra hit points after the first level of 1d6 plus constitution modifier per wizard level. For your proficiencies, your weapons are daggers, darts, slings, quarterstaffs, light crossbow. For your saving throws, you got wisdom and intelligence. For your skills, we have history. And if you chose the planeswalker background, go for insight. If you chose the criminal background, go for arcana. Your spellcasting will use your intelligence modifier. And you also get arcane recovery. Now, we are not focusing on wizard. In fact, we're not doing much wizarding at all. It is only for that sage flavor that we need for Tezzeret's background. What we already are going to do is multi-class into Artificer, since Tezzeret is powerful in the magic of Artifice, being able to create special artifacts and even control metal, which we'll be doing with this class. We get a hit die of 1d8 with extra hit points of 1d8 plus our constitution modifier per Artificer level. For your proficiencies, we are now proficient in light armor, medium armor, and shields, and weapons, if your Dungeon Master allows, is firearms. We also get tool proficiencies in Tinker's Tools. We have the feature, Magical Tinkering, and Spellcasting that uses our Intelligence modifier and has tools required. Sort of an arcane focus type of deal, but not entirely. Moving on to level 2 Wizard, we are going with the arcane tradition found in Kobold Press, Clockwork Mage, which is perfect for our Tezzeret. We get Clockwork Savant and Clockwork Charm. Now, I will say that there are a couple of arcane traditions that you will probably want to go for instead of the Clockwork Mage. One would be Transmutation, and the other one is the Unearthed Arcana's Artificer Arcane Tradition. Just wanted to go ahead and put that out there, but we are doing the Clockwork Mage for this build specifically because it fits with Tezzeret's background, though I will say that the Artificer works just as well. But if your Dungeon Master does not allow Unearthed Arcana or Kobold Press material, then I would recommend going with Transmutation. Moving on to level 2 Artificer, we have the ability Infuse Item. Moving on to level 3 Artificer, we now have our Artificer Specialist, the Master Maker. You have Tools of Intrigue, giving you access to heavy armor and smith's tools. Your Master Maker spells are Absorb Elements and Thunderous Smite. You also have Prosthesis Expertise and Battle Fist. We talked about this before. At 3rd level, your Battle Fist is able to do 1d10 plus your Strength or Intelligence modifier damage. And at 9th level, that increases to 2d10. For the purposes of this video, it's going to be Intelligence modifier. And you also get a special property added onto it. I forgot to change it, though I would say a ranged option would also work. Having the Throne property works just fine, since Tezzeret actually has been stated to launch the fingers of his Battle Fist out at his opponents. You also get the right tool for the job just for being a 3rd level Artificer. Moving on to level 4, we now have an ability score increase. Go ahead and increase your dexterity and constitution each by 1. Level 5, we have extra attack and our Master Maker spells, enhanced ability and lesser restoration. Level 6 Artificer gets tool expertise. Level 7 Artificer gains access to the Flask of Genius feature. And I forgot to change the leveling, but at level 8 Artificer, we get the right tool for... Not the right tool for the job. Wow, I am messing up on this today. We get a special feat at level 8. Tavern Brawler. Go ahead and increase your strength by 1, and you get your weapon proficiency of improvised weapons. This goes in with Tezzeret's name, an improvised weapon, most likely from killing one of his opponents with an unconventional weapon. Going over to level 9 Artificer, we get that improved Battle Fist feature, as well as the Master Maker spells Blinding Smite and Haste. I do apologize for the noise, there's some construction going on, which is honestly kind of fitting for Tezzeret. Going on to a level 10 Artificer, we now have Magic Item Adept. Level 11, we now have Spell Storing Item. Level 12, we get an ability score improvement. Go ahead and increase your intelligence by 2. At 13 level Artificer, we have the Master Maker spells of Freedom of Movement and Stone Shape. At level 14 Artificer, we have Magic Item Savant. And at level 15 Artificer, we get a splendid ability known as Construct Apotheosis. This is where Tezzeret gets his nickname, the Betrayer of Flesh. I swear this ability is just so fitting for Tezzeret, as the Construct Apotheosis gives you resistance to poison damage and psychic damage, and you become immune to the poison condition. If you are affected by a spell or magical effect, you can choose to consider yourself a construct instead of your other creature types, making you immune to anything that says target a certain creature, which is hilarious. So any humanoids will be immune to certain effects when they have the Construct Apotheosis. It's just splendid. Finally, you can cast Anti-Life Shell and Investure of Stone spells without expending a spell slot, without preparing the spell, and without material components, provided that you use your Battle Fist as the spellcasting focus. Once you cast either spell with this feature, you can't cast that spell with it again until you finish a long rest. Like I said, this is perfect for Tezzeret, as he is the Betrayer of Flesh, and like I said, this is oddly similar to Tezzeret, and I think that this subclass was designed specifically for Tezzeret, as this is him entirely. Moving on to level 16 Artificer, go ahead and increase your intelligence by 2 points. And at level 18 Artificer, we are now a Magic Item Master. Now that might be the end of the build, but not the end of the video, as we do have spells to go over. And this time I actually remembered to get a spell list together. So let's go ahead and go over that together, shall we? For our recommended spells, I recommend the following wizard spells, if you decided to have that wizard multi-class. Your cantrips are Mind Sliver, Shocking Grasp, and Toll the Dead. For your first level spells, we have Magic Missile and Tasha's Caustic Brew. For your Artificer, we have the cantrips of Booming Blade, Dancing Lights, Mending, and Sword Burst. First level spells, we have Absorb Elements, Catapult, Featherfall, Jump, and Cure Wounds. Second level spell, we have Alter Self, Enhance Ability, and Web. Third level, we have Dispel Magic and Tiny Servant. Fourth level, this is where we get into the more interesting ones. Summon Construct, Fabricate. Fifth level, Animate Objects and Creation. If you can see which ones are for Tezzeret, great. I don't have to explain a thing, but there are certain spells that I will have to go ahead and explain. Tezzeret, of course, will create constructs. So both animate objects, where he has a lot of different abilities to where he can turn artifacts into living creatures, and summon constructs, where he is able to create his own living constructs just from shaping metal around him. Is perfect. And of course, creation and fabricate, for those few times he doesn't have any objects on him to create living artifacts for, or if he's missing certain materials. Dispel magic, of course, he does have the ability to counterspell in a way. And of course, Tiny Servant, much like his other living artifacts, works perfectly. Enhance ability and alter self goes off of the fact that a lot of Tezzeret's magic is on improving himself, much like how he improved himself by going to the Phyraxians to get a new adamantine body. And with that being said, that is all the time I have for you today. I do hope that you enjoyed this build. And if you want to see a very specific character, let me know down in the comment section below who that is and where they came from. Until then, this has been Drehan, and I am offline.